Right, so I've been practicing the Bruce Buffer impersonation for today. So for Brian to introduce Brian, so I hope I don't deafen everybody. And on the Brian chair, all the way from Harmony Hill, Lambeg, super middleweight title holder, Brian Magee.
Very good, very good.
I was cropping myself because I'd heard loads about you, but then I Wikipedia'd you, proper research, and I saw all these different titles, and I thought, what the? So Brian, we need you to do an intro and tell us about all the different things that you've won, because there's quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot for life in boxing, so it is. I was 12 years old, so I don't know, about maybe 10 Irish titles, then moving on, Olympic Games, European silver medal, multi-nation gold medals, World Cup gold medal, then professional, many titles, 6 professional titles, 2 world titles, European title, British title, 2 intercontinental titles, so quite a bit.
You're rhyming that off.
It's telling you something like I say, you only realise what you've actually done, because sometimes I don't give myself credit for what I've done, and it's when you do wee things like this, you remember, oh God, remember that. So I love doing stuff like this because it brings back memories, because I just kind of wheel on into life and kind of...
You're rhyming that list off like a shopping list, like you're going to Tesco's, you have to get like 2 avocados. You probably missed out loads.
Yeah, we things just through kind of...
Was there a world title as well?
Yeah, there's 2 world titles, yeah.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable. Like I've known Brian about 10, 11 years. And you kind of see these people, on TV or obviously on Facebook or whatever, but then whenever I got to know Brian, it's just strange to see someone who's had such worldwide success and then like have to go pick the kids up from school.
And he's here.
And sitting here.
Disappointing in real life, isn't it?
No, it's life and it's reality, and the reason why I wanted to get you in the interview today, and Ciaran was asking, what are we going to talk to Brian about? I'm like, for him to have such worldwide success, how do you go from that to being a daddy, running a business? I want to talk about your business and how you've kept it going, and even through COVID and all as well, as similar situation myself. It's been hard, but I'm training with Brian at the minute, just for everybody watching, and his gym, it's flat out Brian. But anyway, we want to go back to the boxing again. Ciaran, you're the guy to ask the questions on
I love boxing. I was speaking to Brian before we started, and I think boxing people have different perceptions about boxing. I think it's a bad thing and it's violent, but I remember being a young boy becoming a man and training in St Agnes's where you trained, and it was a safe haven. You're not judged, and it's a place when you're questioning yourself and you're maybe like an angry young man, it's a place for you to get out that anger and frustration with bags and with trainers, and I think it gives you a lot of discipline when you're young.
100%. If it wasn't for boxing for me, even as a kid growing up, you don't know where you'd ended up, if you know what I mean, but it does teach you respect. It teach you, and if you go to the boxing club, there's always somebody there who's better than you. So like if you're, so it humbles you. If you're a boy or something like that, I'll see knock a boy out of you, because you realise, God, look at these people, and then you start to admire them for their talents as well. And boxing is a skill, and you're bettering yourself every time as well, so you're learning all the time too. And that's why I think the gym's so popular with the boxing too, because you're going training as well, but you're also like learning wee things too, and with training too, you're finding out about yourself, and you're achieving something every time you train as well.
How did you get into it?
Just as a kid, my cousins, I think one time from school, you all went to the local boxing club, and I just tagged along, but I actually get punched in the nose the first time I went and said, that's finished me boxing, and I got boxed up again, had enough, and then I moved from Lisburn down to Poglass, so I did, and I just had an urge to join a boxing club, so I joined St Agnes's boxing club, and from then I loved it. I had won the Irish title in my first year, so like 6 fights by the end of the year.
And what age were you then?
I was 12, but they have them from 11. You can fight from in championships from 11 years old. So I went down and entered the All Ireland Championships stuff, won the All Irons, and then kind of from the next year it was like you have summer off when you're a kid, you see, so you train, and you have the summer holidays off in boxing. Then the phone started ringing, Brian come back to the boxing club to defend the title and stuff like that there, and that kind of just drew me into it. And then by another year in boxing, that was me kind of hooked on it. So it wasn't.
So it didn't take long for the talent for people, for you and other people to realise.
Yeah. Obviously, everyone said you had a bit of natural talent, but you see, other kids as well. I think I was just good at dodging punches. So I was known as a counter puncher. So I was. So that's it.
What does that mean to me and Kate? We don't even know.
Just counter puncher would be if somebody found a punch, you're good at slipping it and coming back. But it was kind of like you hear about natural people with a bit of natural talent. And you know, sometimes you see kids with natural ability to just natural movement, if you know what I mean. Like also when you go to a boxing club starting off, if you're right-handed, they change you around to lead with your left. But I was a right-handed, but I still did my right. It's called a natural southpaw. So it was kind of all wee things like that there, kind of in my favour type of thing. So it was.
How did you, like, I just be fascinated with, what do you think, well, I know we're saying about talent and all, but do you think even at a young age there was something driving you? Like, what was your driver? What did you want to be? Was it the respect of your elder, like, you know, the guys training you? What do you think as a young kid was driving you then?
At the start it was definitely just because friends and all were going, my family and stuff like that, my brother and stuff were going, that drew me into it, if you know me. But then at the start, you know, you end up training with people like over boxers. I always say, like, fighters, you've trained with friends for life, because sometimes when you're sparring and all, you become really close friends. It's like it's hard to describe when you're sure with each other and you fight each other. All your ego goes out the window.
You have mutual respect.
You're just the two people, and it's just mutual respect no matter what. Yeah, even beforehand, if you've been slagging each other off and you hit each other, once you have that mutual respect, then everything ego drops.
Yeah.
So that there is kind of one thing. But starting boxing, it was just me going down with friends and that there too. And then you've got to fall in love with the sport, if you know, and you realise you've got a bit of talent. And then it wasn't until I was like about 15 I could have said, no, I want to be a boxer. I seen Muhammad Ali fighting, and I went black and white video. And I just thought he was amazing, and I was going, I'd love to be a boxer. And I never knew anybody about professional boxer or nothing at the time.
Right.
So I just thought, I think I'm going to be a boxer when I grow up. So.
Any regrets?
I was a boxer.
Any regrets?
No, I always tried not to have. I'm sure I have regrets of things I should have done and opportunities I should have taken and stuff like that there. But I try to not worry about regrets, because I just think they'll eat you up. And you know, especially after boxing, especially when you get to professional boxing and the business side of it, you kind of, you know, you have some bad things done on you business wise, and you know, you're always getting somebody's always trying to do you. Like, I've had guys trying to set you up in fights where, this fight's called off, don't be training, next all of a sudden the fight's on, and then you see this guy jumping on the scales and he's got the shreds, he's obviously been training for 12 weeks and they think you haven't been training and stuff like that there, so you've got wee dirty tricks like that there, a lot of things. But if you start thinking about all that there and people not paying you properly, you would it's kind of hard to sleep at night, you know, you'd hit everybody. So, and also,
I mean, who messes with a bloody boxer, like?
This is the nicest people, and you ever meet. I obviously get the odd one or two that, you know, thing, but if you meet any boxer, like, you know, they're not into fighting in the street or you know, doing enough fighting, and towards the end you're fought out. Now I just want to live a happy life and just kind of get on with things.
So just when you were talking there, so you have 3 daughters.
3 daughters, yeah.
That was handy. No sons.
Yeah, well, that's why I have 3, because I kept trying for a boy and then get one.
But the reason, obviously, none of the girls interested in boxing, or?
Yeah, they come to we have wee kids classes now in the gym. They come down and they like it. So the 2 youngest weren't kind of probably old enough to see me box and stuff. The oldest one was, but yeah, she's in the other sports. She's in the golf and hockey and stuff for the school. But they know about boxing and they have a kind of natural punch. But I've never actually taken them one-on-one to train them stuff. But
so the question I want to know, if you had a son and he had says, Daddy, I want to get into boxing, would you have recommended it? Would you have wanted him to?
Yeah, definitely. I think just for I think it's brilliant for every kid to go through a boxing club, because as was talked about there, but you learn a bit of respect. You learn there's life lessons there that you're not learning in the house, and they're so hard to learn walking around the street and like that there. You learn things, you hold them, and I think it makes you a better person, a better man growing up. So it does definitely. It's like most sports for kids getting into, but boxing is definitely one of them. I'd say recommend. They should have a curriculum maybe in schools or something, but they get especially as kids are getting in trouble as they're younger and younger, get them into that more and have it come through the schools.
Yeah, direct them to channel that energy or testosterone or whatever you want to call it.
Like boxing as well in the schools. I think the way they don't is because they think you have to stand and punch each other, but there's lots more to boxing. Like in my gym, we don't box each other. We have a kind of white collar thing we do for Cate and Ciara, where you train for 8 weeks and then you fight at the end of it. But majority of the full time in the gym, it's just training. There's no actual contact. No apart from hitting bags, hitting pads. So you can learn a lot without getting hit in the face. So I always say it's all the fun of boxing without getting hit in the face. So you don't have to kind of worry.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
There's no better way to train. Like I always say, it's in everybody's DNA too. When you go and hit a boxing bag, like, you know, it's in our DNA, and you just get so much enjoyment out of it.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's Tell us.
We're born wanting to fight and kind of hit
This is an interesting concept, isn't it?
Yeah, I just say it's definitely in you. When you do it, there's no release like it or type of training like it. You know, and it's the good thing about it. It's everybody can do it. It's it's easy to do. Hitting a punch bag. There's no like skill level when you go. People go to the gym. Like after it's over, come to the gym. People are scared of the gym. Going, look at that big bit of equipment there and barbells. But with a boxing bag and hit the bag, everybody can do it. Even if people that are injured or anything at their bad backs, you can still do a bit of boxing all too. So it's great for everybody.
But I think that's right, because there's definitely something primal about it. Because they do talk about fight or flight, and you know yourself, like I found it with weightlifting. Anytime I've been lifting heavy weights, there's something comes out of you that doesn't really happen at any other time. Is it? There's some kind of a, I don't know what it is.
Aggressiveness, and this as well. We have to, it's good to get out every now and again rather than kind of suppress it all the time.
I love that concept. It's in our DNA. That's class.
No,
but we can all be traced back to tribes, can't we?
Yeah,
and it's a form of self-defense. Yeah. It's not to attack people, it's to defend yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's what people think it's a form of aggression, but it's the opposite. It's to defend yourself against aggression.
Yeah.
And when you think of, we've all went from tribes, we've all had to defend family members and going back thousands of years. Yeah, boxing's like an art form almost, 100%. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's like even with due COVID now, we had to separate each other, and why that's going to have so many problems with everybody mentally as well is because that's in our DNA. When we were cavemen and stuff, the only way to survive was to get together,
connect
and go into a cave together. So night time, if you were left outside, you go, I'm going to be cool, I'm being myself. You end up getting eaten. So that's why it's in our DNA. We need people, and that's why I joined the gym. You just have gyms all talk about community and all, and that's what it's all about. It's all about kind of connecting.
Community, tribes.
It's like this here, when people connecting, where it's across a TV screen or whatever. It's like being part of something. Everybody loves to be part of something.
Community.
Community.
And that is what we're trying to do.
Boxing's a big community. Boxing community is massive.
So boxing was your career for how many years?
Oh God, from I was 12 years old until I was 38.
And so how do you? At what point do you have to just go to yourself? Well, that's it. Now I'm hanging up my gloves. I'm old now, or what?
I always give myself kind of, by the time I'm 38, I think that'll be enough for me. Because different weights, you always kind of have an age limit, if you know what I mean. But if you go longer, you kind of you can get hurt. If you haven't got hurt by then, you end up getting hurt going too long. So I always thought about 38 I'll finish, and it worked out that way as well. Just after my last fight, and my dad, I'll just give it a miss. Had the opportunity to open the gym, opened it up. And I started going really, really well, so I kind of thought, I'll just keep doing this here. But I could have fought on for another couple of fights. I had a contract for another 2 fights, and I never seen it out. I just kind of quit. So
do you miss it?
Yeah, I really miss it now. So I thought boxing was hard at the time, but in real life, working and.
I know he always says that to me. He's like, "Flip me, Ciara. Life is harder than getting into your ring." I'm like,
yeah. Well, I used to just get up in the morning. You might have a routine. It's all about routine. Get up, go training. Come back, you cook your lunch, had a snooze, went back training again, and then I actually did for 3 months until you fought, and then after that, you could do what you want. You go out and have a good time, but then you're back in training camp again. I'll put myself in training camp.
I think if you've hit on something there. We do actually like routine, don't we?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Humans like routine.
Well, I think you need it to progress in anything. You need routine. You need that kind of, keeping your lane. And
discipline. Discipline's a good thing. Yeah.
Discipline. Well, that's the thing about it, coming from a gym, about talking about motivation. Yeah, motivation is good to get you started, but it doesn't last very long. This is where you need to kind of keep an eye on what you want to do and where you want to go.
One of the other, I can't remember who it was, somebody else that says, we only need willpower until it becomes a habit, which I thought was class. Because people go, I've no willpower, and it's like you only need it for how long? A month is it till you form a habit?
21 days.
So it's only willpower for 28 days and then it becomes a habit. I think someone was talking about even like stopping smoking. You only need willpower for the couple of weeks and then it forms the habit.
Well, with all routines, don't they? Some routines are positive and some are negative.
Yeah.
But you've just went with a positive routine to get you in the best optimal condition to fight.
Well, that's the thing about the boxing when you're kids. It's laid out for you, and that's what you kind of do. So like Monday to Friday, you're in the boxing gym every night, and then obviously when you start fighting, if you goes and you're obviously then you have to start watching your kind of weight and all too. It's quite gentle, like if you know what I mean. What you're doing, it's not too sick, but it's all good, building up good healthy habits for the future. Where things I learned as a kid in boxing when I started joining 12 stood me right through my boxing career. Before I even started, I'm telling myself things. I used to tell myself when I was 12 years old, you know, still you had to go
Really?
for hotel, yeah.
Wow.
All routines like that there, yeah. Stuff you learned off your first coach, you're doing in fights, so it's amazing, like, you know. But it shows you how good it is.
Yeah. So you're doing that, and it's all like, I think it really, the boxing is. We talk a lot about, I did a blog last week about feel the fear and do it anyway. So were you afraid? Did you feel afraid? Talk to us about, how do you feel getting in knowing you're going to knock lumps out of each other? Like, obviously you've done, didn't you say you've done a little bit of boxing?
I had a couple of fights when I was like a teenager, early 20s, just amateur.
Yeah.
So
and I shit myself every time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did.
It is. It's very hard. I would have got nervous weeks before, so just say a fight's just announced, you're fighting so and so.
You fought some big names,
yeah,
didn't you?
Yeah. So I got nervous well before, and then next thing, as the fight goes on, because you're training yourself, you get in your zone. But once you know you've done the work in, you've put the work in, you know you're going to be okay getting in the ring and fighting. You're okay to fight. But like there's been times, say like a short notice fight, you get in, you're going, geez, I'm not really prepared for this fight, and maybe only good for a good 6 rounds. I'll have to stop him before that door, else I'm in trouble. So that's when you start to worry. But when you know you've done all the prep, you've prepared, you don't have, you know, you've not.
But do you not shit yourself walking into the ring? Like, and that, I mean, I just can't imagine getting to the point where I'm going to be fighting with someone.
Yeah. No, I've got moments where this kind of lasts forever. Like, I have moments where in the ring where you get hit, and it just seemed to last. So many things went through your head, and it just seemed to last forever. You're kind of going. I remember one time I was fighting a guy, and I was on the first, had him down the first round there, knocked him out, and then he came back, he cut my eye, so he did, and I spurred him on to come back, and then one time I was just kind of moved, but he just kept on hitting me, and he caught me, and he kept hitting me again. I was going to myself, fucking all right, just go down here and get a wee break. But this seemed like it was that length of time, it was just a millisecond.
Time slowed down.
Well, yeah, it was just like a millisecond. I remember going to myself, I just felt the guy saying to himself, oh, why just go down here? He's hitting me here non-stop, why just go down and take a wee break and then go up and then start fighting again.
Is that the voice you were talking to yourself?
Yeah,
They're just like, they're just going to have a wee nap
so
now.
That's the way it felt in my head.
Like an outer body experience?
Then just me and our fighters come out and go, no, and I just get back up again and just...
How do you access that inner fighter?
You know what it is? It's like everybody, I will say to everybody has this within them. It's like what I said about why boxing's in your DNA. It's that inner fighter. I believe everybody has that inner fighter, not to give up. But it's like anything, you can't just make it appear. You have to train it as well to come out and make it stronger all the time. It's like all power too, you know, start off a wee thing, as you do it longer you'll get better and better and better.
Like a muscle.
Yeah. It's like boxing too, like a pain threshold. Say you start boxing when you're young, when you're 12 years old, getting hit, it's not as sore as when you're your age starting. Then that's when it's scary. You go, Jesus, because we have white collar boxing where you come and train for 8 weeks, so anybody getting in, the first punch is like, oh my god, it's scary, and it would be for the first time. But when you're a kid getting used to it, you know, it's not that big a deal. You're kind of.
He said to me last week, would he say when I get you sparring? I was like, no, absolutely.
And are you?
No.
Why not?
Shut up, Kate.
You used to spar?
We could spar.
Some cancer, brilliant, yeah. Okay.
No.
Like if you quit fractured cancer, you and me.
And you honestly, top of the bill.